In 3, 2, 1.
And we're back. Hello everyone, back with a New Game Plus run. We saw the New Game Plus run of Horizon Zero Dawn earlier today by Dorian Snowball. And now we're gonna run this run on story difficulty. It's a lot different on story difficulty, you will see it in a minute. I think we just should just start the run and then talk about it later. And thanks to Elk, he's gonna do some commentary during the one, and we'll talk a bit about the run and have a great time.
Indeed.
So I'm gonna start the timer in 3, 2, 1, and go.
He said we'd go hunting this morning.
So yeah,
Isn't he here?
we'll just start off where every New Game Plus run starts off at Rost's house.
He's just standing there. What's going on with him?
Always good to return to this place. And also Rost is still alive.
Of course.
Yeah. And luckily we fixed the game sound this time.
Yeah, it should be better right
That
now.
is sorted out now. But yeah, New Game Plus story, similar to what we saw earlier. New Game Plus, you get the idea. We start out the run with all our specific weapons. Interestingly enough, in Zero Dawn, all the weapons are set up the same as they are in Ultra Hard. Not the case in Forbidden West. But we'll see slightly different weapons in story difficulty, because like I always say, this is Stormslinger percent. So we'll see a lot of
The good old
'cause
Stormslinger, yeah.
It is overpowered on story difficulty.
Yeah, the
to say least.
Stormslinger is definitely a bit too strong because the storm. What makes it like bad RNG.
Happens.
What makes the Stormslinger like okay on Ultra Hard is its huge damage output, but also its damage output towards yourself. So you can easily hurt yourself with the Stormslinger. On story difficulty, that's a different thing. You have a huge damage output, and it's very hard to kill yourself with the Stormslinger. So
I don't know.
a bit too strong in my opinion.
Yep.
How could he do this?
But
We
it
have
also
started. Oh, sorry.
it also makes the run a little bit interesting because, of course, with this nice weapon we can do a lot of strats we can't do in ultra hard difficulty, of course.
What's it
Caught there. Well, anyway, you know.
I guess also interestingly enough, I guess I want to point out is Kaido, to my knowledge, is the only top runner in Zero Dawn that plays exclusively mouse and keyboard, right?
That is right, yeah.
As far as I'm aware.
I
So we are gonna
think
see some nice flicks.
yeah, some nice flicks. I hope my aim is not too shaky. I'm a bit nervous, but let's see how it goes.
You're gonna do fine.
You're the
But yeah, surprisingly enough, not that many people actually play with mouse and keyboard. 'Cause I guess to be fair, most of the top runners started out being console runners and didn't bother to switch when PC came out.
Indeed.
Plus the game, I think most agree, feels way more natural with controller. It was definitely designed for that.
Yeah.
Even though it's heavy on the shooting.
It definitely works. It works on mouse and keyboard, but I see the point that this game is definitely designed for a controller and for a console, and not for the use of a mouse and keyboard. But I have some neat functions and little skills I can pull off on my mouse and keyboard compared to the controller, which you will see in a bit.
all you. Oh, are you? It's black.
So yeah, just finished Mother's Heart. Pretty much an auto-scroller from the beginning to this part of the run. And now things are getting interesting.
Yep. Time for the proving. As we saw early on the run, proving starts off with the Gracer fight, which on story you take off even quicker than you did on Ultra Hard. And then we have a couple of skips before the big fight.
too far behind.
Yes, indeed.
I've gotta catch up.
But the proving fight itself is actually pretty similar to the ultra hard version. It's basically a mixture out of just normal arrows and some proximity bombs.
What's behind me?
Yeah.
We use to spawn camp some of the Eclipse soldiers.
No way but forward now.
And here in a second we'll see the infamous tree skip, which is hard, but we can hopefully pull it off first try. Yep, there it is. Skip some climbing, which is a pretty cool skip in my opinion.
Yeah, there's been quite a lot of strat developments to all the skips and improving over time.
So right here you can see in the red corner I can actually switch through my weapons without entering the weapon wheel.
I had the wilds.
And I can basically use all of my weapons in the whole run without opening the wheel once in the whole run. I have to craft some ammunition at some point, but that's the only time where I actually need to open my weapon wheel.
Yeah, the PC, if I remember correctly, you just use the numbers on the keyboard, right? As well.
Yeah, the numbers, or I actually used some buttons on my mouse to
Oh, right.
to set my.
Do you have one of those World of Warcraft mouse?
No, not a.
12 buttons.
It's just a
On the
classic
side.
with two extra buttons,
Okay,
and that's
same.
totally enough. I have my bomb sling and my normal bow on my mouse buttons, and I have my ice rail on 1 and my storm slinger on 4 on my keyboard.
They must have found me, but
I just know sometimes you see those people with those World
Yeah,
of Warcraft mouses,
signal.
12 buttons on the side.
There.
I'm sure some speedrunner use that in some games.
You say
I mean, it's useful if you play like
mounted.
MOBA games or like not FPS games. I think that's then
Yeah.
quite useful if you have some of that. But if you play like competitive games, you just need a light mouse which has like big 2 buttons that you can use. But everything more than 2 or 3 extra buttons on your mouse is just too much in my opinion.
Yeah.
So now we're at the in the mountain of the how's it called again? Eleuthia ruin.
All Mother Mountain, yeah.
Oh mother, right? And now we're actually almost finishing the embrace section. We just have to kill the corruptor, which is also pretty funny on story difficulty because we only need 1 single arrow to kill the corruptor, and we even spawn camp it because we actually found a way to kill the corruptor before this fight even starts, which is pretty cool.
Then, what's your plan?
This was my plan, to show you where you were born and the route to
Excuse me.
follow the destiny intended for you. The other high matriarchs are waiting for us. You in time. No,
Even
yes. If any may.
So let's see how this goes.
We will soon begin. Purify your hearts.
The strat has a little bit of neat timing to it, so you gotta closely watch. Oh, that's embarrassing.
Nora faithful.
Anyway,
We will soon begin.
no wild rocket attempt.
a quick way down.
This actually happened in my warm-up in the run yesterday too. Whoops.
Oh, you actually managed to get warm up in?
Yeah.
Nice. I guess you're a little ahead of me and Dorian then.
Since
But we also had a lot of stuff to look into beforehand.
But maybe we will make up for that later in the run.
Yeah.
So we just need 1 arrow here
won't be long.
to kill the
Gotta
corruptor.
get in position. Come.
There it is. Reset from save, and we can then loot the corruptor.
One of these things, Marsh. How'd you do?
Hey, look,
Ted?
I came. You.
Exactly.
I hope.
But
I think. I know.
Nice. So we've finally finished the embrace.
it worked. Striders. I can test those.
Oh,
There we
wow.
go. Atta boy.
Someone had to get the bad luck. All marathon runs were like pretty good so far,
No.
and no crazy unlucky RNG. But of course, my Zero Dawn mount has to derp and lose me time. Anyway,
Whole life.
onto the massacre site.
The world just got bigger. But also more dangerous.
I'm really curious to see if we actually get some technical updates in the Burning Shores, and we'll maybe see a mount improvement or some other updates that maybe develop the game a little bit more and not only give us a new story. That would be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see just how much they
Corpse next door?
change and add,
Focus
and
is picking up some
there's definitely a
things.
lot of quality of live improvements.
Maybe I
I
can
hope they add to the game
Yeah.
for Forbidden West.
And RIP to all PC and PlayStation 4 players who desperately are waiting for a
No advantage.
Forbidden West version coming to PC, or hopefully in the future a Burning Shores version coming to PC, because I don't think they will ever release Burning Shores on the PlayStation 4. I mean, that
Oh yeah,
would
Burning
not
Shores
make
is now
sense,
coming to PS4.
even if they...
Sony is done releasing things on PS4. That's not
Yeah.
MLB the show.
I mean, even Forbidden West was pretty weird on the PlayStation. You just could feel that this game was not developed for...
For PC?
Yeah,
You
for
mean?
PC. I don't know. Did I not? Oh
The war chief
god.
left something behind. But not
Did I not examine? I didn't examine the watcher. Rip. I'm derping.
if I'm gonna find what she
Don't worry.
said. The massacre site.
There we go.
It's a marathon run. There will be mistakes.
Var-
That never happened to me before. Definitely.
He said the thing.
But I forgot to examine the watcher. Oh no.
Girl said war chief stole
Don't worry, we'll just do an amazing Aussie route at FAS Tower and we'll make up for all the time lost by one split. No problem. So we almost reached the Karja border, which is one of my favorite splits actually in the whole run. I like the variety that comes with Karja border
Yep.
and the different machines, different weapons I used in my story runs.
I'm good for you. I
You
should
just
go.
finished talking to Maria, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so good. I'm just I was a bit delayed, so
Yeah.
just catching up here. All right, should be make it a little easier for me to commentate now because I have a better feed of your run now. Sorry.
Nice. And just
so Karja
going on my
border
mount.
time.
Yeah.
This is where I think we start to see some of the big differences between story and ultra hard here.
Yep. I think the beginning is fairly the same. I'm just gonna use some fire arrows here to safely kill the grazers. You can also use normal arrows and try to hit the cores. What is it called in English again? The blaze canisters, but
Canisters, yeah.
yeah, but I personally just stick for the body shot with a fire arrow instead of trying to hit
way
the
more
blaze.
reliable.
Yeah.
And since it's a one-shot anyway on story, it
Yeah.
doesn't use any time.
I think you can even kill the grazer with one fire arrow, which doesn't have the overdraw, but
I believe so.
it still has some fire damage over time, and I think it's also enough. But I just overdraw the bow and then go for the safe kill on the grazers. And
Yeah,
here
so
on the
here's where Stormslinger
yeah, okay,
starts.
right. That's where we start to feel the power that comes with Stormslinger. Here we kill all the machines with the Stormslinger pretty fast.
I've done what I can.
And then right up here.
Time to see if
So with my old graphics card,
over the mountains.
I could actually pull off the PlayStation form of this strat here, where the mount comes with you. I guess
Yeah.
that's because my old graphics card was so bad that it actually was similar to a PlayStation graphical unit. But now
Yeah,
with my new graphic unit, it's just like the normal PC players, where you don't have your mount at the top of the mountain, which is pretty sad because it loses time, but it is how it is.
Only a few places where there's a difference between console and PC.
Truly, the sun shines upon us this
There we
day.
go. And also, since people asked in chat, I'll just quickly answer here. The reason why he's intentionally damaging, I guess since it's story killing his mount, is because when you whistle for a mount, if you are still within range of your current mount, they will try to run from where he spawns, or somewhat try to come from that direction, even though he might teleport. And in a lot of cases, it's better to damage the mount and call for a fresh mount, because it has a chance of spawning on the path that you're going to anyway. So in Zero Dawn, since you can just whistle for new mounts at any point due to one of the skills, in a lot of situations it's just faster to quickly kill or damage a mount to make it no longer your mount and call a fresh one instead.
Exactly. And you can either do that by using one bombs, which is the normal way, or also use the Stormslinger.
Yeah.
And I think in the most new game runs where you have only the basic loadout, you just use fire damage to damage the mount.
Yep. Yeah, you would do that in any percent.
Right. So now we head to Meridian. Just have some dialogue with Erend, and we basically try to find out what Olin has to do with the killings at the proving. Yeah, it's basically just a big auto-scroller. Right to Meridian, roll through Meridian, get to Aaron's house, and then we'll travel to the excavation site, which is, I would say, with the Ring of Metal and the very last quest, probably the combat heaviest split in the run.
Yeah. Ridge Defense is definitely number one. But
Yeah.
I think Excavation Side is number two.
Yeah, I would also
Thinking
say
from the top of my head.
from the length of the split, Ring of Metal is definitely a bit longer and also a
True.
little bit RNG heavier in my opinion.
I guess technically Ring of Metal has more enemies, but they're human, so yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess also quickly explain the Stormslinger, the reason why it's used so much in story and not ultra hard. So the Stormslinger, I think you can, is it 6 or 7 times you can fire it before recoil?
Oh, it's more. I think it's up to 10 times. I think yeah, you can shoot it pretty often.
Yeah, but basically the thing is, the more you shoot the Stormslinger, the more damage you get per shot. So you want to keep it, charged up to those high shots. But when you go above those, overcharge it basically, it does recoil damage to you rather than firing. And on ultra hard, it actually does so much that it can kill you if you're not careful. But on story, since it's story difficulty, you barely take any damage, so you can just fire away. and that's why it's used a lot more in story. Whereas on ultra hard, you need to be very trigger disciplined to use it. We still use it in some fights, but not that many compared to story.
Yeah. I think if you just hold down your input and just keep firing the Stormslinger, the very last shot before the weapon recharges will destroy all your shield, but you won't lose any red health.
Aaron
Yeah.
said he'd introduce me to his sister if he
That's
just
pretty
told me.
useful.
Said she was.
Yeah, I guess also Craigley mentioned that since we brought it up, the Shield Reaver.
How would
A lot of people assume the Shield Reaver is super overpowered, and it is on lower difficulties.
A lot, not many.
But
How I start
the way the Shield Reaver actually works in Zero Dawn
I don't
is you get more shield depending on how low of a difficulty you are. So I believe it's 500 HP the shield is on story, but on ultra hard the shield is only, I believe, 125 hit points.
Yeah, that's a
So-
big difference.
Exactly.
Not now.
So the shield is a lot more effective
Here we
here on
are.
story as well
Try not to break it.
to help mitigate the Stormslinger, which will be the main damage you take.
Wasting time.
But obviously, when you just look at the health bar, it's a little misleading because it just has the entire blue bar over the 800 health. But in reality, the blue bar is only 500 HP points compared to the 800 below it. And again, on ultra hard, it's only 125. Because the way difficulties work in Zero Dawn, instead of just making the game harder in terms of making enemies do more damage, well, they do that. But the main thing they do to change difficulties is actually nerf your weapons and your outfits.
Wait,
out of
I'm not just.
Is the main difference
Frederick.
on difficulties, and that plays into the Shield Reaver as well. If you're not playing on patch 1.0. The Shield Reaver used to be overpowered and actually give you a full bar of blue health, which was 700 HP at the time on the original patches of the game on all difficulties, so it was super overpowered. But then they nerfed it and changed it to be 500 max and then scaling down by each difficulty in one of the early patches of the game.
Yeah, and if you also pay close attention to the health bar when the shield recharges, you can also see that the shield recharges a lot faster on ultra hard difficulty because it's a lot less shield. So on story it actually takes like 8 seconds for the shield to fully recharge, and on ultra hard it's just recharged in a matter of 2 seconds because it's so little shield.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good way to see
Yeah.
The difference visually.
So similar to the proving, I'm just gonna now set up my weapons with my keys to cycle through my weapons to what weapons I actually use. On story, with my personal strat, I think my strat is a little bit different than the one that Ozzy uses for his story runs. I use the normal bow, the Stormslinger, and normal bombs. But on story difficulty, it's pretty much your choice and preference what you use, because everything does a ton of damage.
Kill her! No, you had your chance.
And you can just see it just shred through the corruptors immediately. It should also be known that story difficulty, in fairness, is a difficulty designed to be for people that,
I'm not.
what's it called?
You found-
It's their,
I'm not- what
either
are they
they're
made
not
what
too
you like,
interested
name,
in
and who?
spending too much time on combat, or maybe it's their very first video game they play.
How?
I was
Or maybe don't have that much experience in shooters, whatever.
Yes.
So it's nerfed heavily compared to all the other difficulties, and therefore you can just kill really fast. That being said, it's often a misconception in speedrunning that running on the easiest difficulty is a lot easier. That's not true, because speedrunning itself is a difficulty in itself.
Yeah, exactly.
So just trying to do things really fast just naturally makes it harder, because obviously, yeah, the chance of dying is not there, but if you want to do it really fast and optimal, you still gotta make these like really precise shots.
I'm glad that's
And in
over
story, because each shot, you know, is basically a one shot, each missed shot is also losing a lot of time.
Exactly. For example, I think at Borderlands and also the excavation side are splits that where the skill cap to get like a perfect split is very high on story difficulty. So in order to get like a world record Borderlands or world record excavation site, you also need to play really well in order to get like the full potential of your weapons.
Yeah.
Especially if you like have a really optimized leaderboard with top tier runners that try everything to optimize the runs. I mean, at this point, with my 137.42 tie with Everyday Aussie, mount spawns actually impact our runs, and if we get that mount spawn, we will later see that in our time of the speedrun, because it's actually quite optimized at this point.
Yeah, basically all New Game Plus categories are in Horizon Zero Dawn at this point are like super optimized. I would say. I mean, they're not like frame perfect or anything, but considering they're 2-hour speedruns with arguably quite a bit of RNG and here and there compared to other games, it is impressive that most of them are so close to like some of the best times. And
What's that?
I think it's calling in machines. Get ready.
And also it's still incredible that we actually have a tie between on New Game Plus Story, the most popular run in the game. It's tied on PC, I should say.
Yeah.
On console, it's not, but
These look like Vanguard weapons.
but yeah, hopefully, I know Ozzy is not running these days because he's busy with a lot of other things, and I think also generally burned out.
Something hit the
But who knows? Maybe we can see you untied at some point.
We'll see. It's definitely my goal, but it's also pretty optimized at this point.
Looks like you could mount
It is
something
indeed.
on that thing.
Also, my world record run got some very insane splits that are really hard to top, so it will be a big challenge, definitely.
Yeah.
So now we finished the ambush, which is compared to ultra hard difficulty a relatively simple split. Because on ultra hard you make use of the ice rail and load up some more arrows, and the aiming is pretty intense, I would say, in this split compared to story, because you just use the storm slinger for the ravagers. And you actually also spawn camp one ravager with the proximity bombs, which I used before the cutscene of the first fight actually started. To kill that ravager in advance, which is pretty cool. Similar to the snap maw in Smack Percent, that we also spawn camp. Only difference is that in Smack Percent we can actually use normal impact grenades and don't have to use proximity grenades, because when you launch impact grenades into the water... Oh, well, that's bad RNG right there. It's unlucky.
Oh yeah.
So we're definitely gonna kill our mount here and get a new one.
Yeah, definitely the right call in that situation. Sometimes you just get really unlucky in the desert. That's another RNG part.
Yeah.
Granted, it doesn't happen that often, but on average, I would say...
Exactly. On average, I would say 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
It doesn't... I mean, I play story difficulty, so on story it's even worse if you actually get hit by one of those, because it's so rare compared to ultra hard, where the machines, of course, are a little bit more deadly and attack you way faster than in story.
They're more aggressive and get alerted faster. So I'm sorry, but sometimes they just spawn in such a way that they'll spot you no matter what, and it's unfortunate.
Alright. So RNG has not been too good so far, but we can still make this a great run.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Upcoming is the Great Maker's End split with the FAS tower, which is a pretty cool split in the casual playthrough, in my opinion. I really enjoyed the Maker's End split. Also with the holograms at the very top of the building, and in the Maker's End split I think it's the first time where Ayla really realizes what's going on with her.
Yeah.
And Aloy gets some lore herself and some information about all the things that happened, so I really enjoyed the split in my casual playthrough. And Speedrun Rise, it's also pretty interesting.
It's developed a lot, especially over the last year and a half with the new makers and skips and stuff, which I believe is the newest strats in the run, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe not strat, but new skip at least is the makers and strats. If I remember the history correctly.
Yeah, that's pretty new.
Hey!
And yeah, you're about to see it here. Unfortunately, we didn't show it earlier in Dorian's run, but let's see how well it goes here. Because I think Kaido is going to go all out on all the skips here in Maker's End.
Not every single split, but I think I will use everything but one bomb jump, which is very hard. The second one out of 3 bomb jumps you will see in the split. I will leave that out and use a route that I actually found and developed over time. Yeah. Oh, fell down here. Unfortunate. We're gonna have to do that again. That's also pretty... Okay,
I
Ayla.
really just like that jump.
Ayla really tries to get some time loss here. Oh, game, come on. Let me up. So normally would walk on a ledge there and
So they made the focus.
there we go.
There we go, yeah.
Fourth try.
So basically just skips having to climb around that circle.
Yeah,
there.
right. It's one of those skips that saves barely any time, but is very hard to pull off. Especially on mouse and keyboard. Some splits are a little bit harder on mouse and keyboard, some are a little bit easier. So now there comes the second skip. I jump around here to cut a little bit of the elevator.
Yeah, and the wall he's jumping on here actually has a much smaller hitbox than it looks like.
Yeah.
Or the place you can stand on is much smaller than
exactly.
because most of it is slippery.
Yeah, it's pretty tiny.
Right off.
You only can stand on the very edge.
Mm. And then there's the skip. Which is the big Mega Sen skip, which has become a bit of a notorious run killer overall. Ever since it was found. Saves a lot of time, but it's definitely ain't easy. Yeah, it's basically the same as my method, pretty much. A little too far forward on those jumps.
Come on.
Yeah, so right here you see the bomb jumps when you aim right down at your feet. And technically it doesn't have to be right down, but makes it easier. And shoot at the same time. As you time a jump, you get a small boost to get up just a little bit higher on ledges. So you can just get, what's it called, to a platform that's just slightly out of reach. And it takes a bit of practice to get the timing down for them, but and the angles and all that, but they do save quite a lot of time when they're combined with these longer skips.
It's been years.
Where's your legal team?
It's a pretty cool technique.
I dropped all 18 lawsuits the moment you landed.
It was actually a technique, funny enough, that was known for a long time. It just took forever to find places where it became useful.
Yeah. I think the first place was Smack Percent or Frozen Wilds, I guess.
Yeah, beginning of Frozen Wilds, I believe, was the first one.
You wouldn't have eaten the crow necessary to get me here.
and then I'm not really sure what came after that. But yeah, the beginning of Frozen Wilds was definitely the first one,
Chariot line.
Your killer
and then I assume all the Smack ones came along.
Yes, those.
Yeah.
So shut them down.
There's part of a lot of small like movement things. I believe Ozzy found originally, where it was like, oh, you can get a little bit extra height with a bomb jump, or you can launch yourself forward Terra Blast, and then I was like, yeah, it's cool, but
Show me
we
the
never
deal
found
then.
places to use them, and
And I'll take that lunch.
then bad things happened.
Oh, yeah.
we found places.
Faro brought Elizabeth Sobek here.
And since we're waiting for the holograms there, I guess interesting fact, the initial idea for the Terra Blast jump when it was first found was actually to launch yourself into the Glinthawk fight early.
Bad?
Jesus, Les.
So
It's not
a
bad.
little bit of history
Detective.
for
It's apocalyptic.
The
turned out it
durable
didn't work.
fight?
Killer robots.
Yeah, skipping going to the place at all.
That consume
Ah.
biomass as fuel.
In emergencies.
Or
And you make
I
them
think you would
capable of
go to the
self-replication.
Limited
place and activate it, but
self-manufactured
instead of
control.
going the
Not anymore.
right under Meridian, you know, the intended path, it was to launch you over the fence.
Interesting.
But it didn't work. It turned out there's some checkpoints in the intended path you have to hit.
The Earth bare in 15 months.
I think I
But you
haven't
could
been
climb up. You could climb up on the fence and launch you over,
yeah,
basically.
I get it.
haven't been a part of the HCD community, I think, when that when this skip was a thing.
Yeah, that was way back.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things way back. Some should say I should probably make a history video at some point.
Yeah.
At some point, that's a big project. That's gonna take forever, but it's on the to-do list.
Hopefully Fleur will keep up with the Smack percent history. And
I mean, if he doesn't finish it, I will, because that deserves a history video.
yeah. Fleur, where are you? No, I actually dropped one video and now it's your time, Fleur.
I would have proposed it.
Oh yeah, you made the Smack tutorial.
Yes, I did. We should
Very
add it.
nice.
We should add it to the speedrun.com guides later.
Oh, for sure.
Only chance. Now sign the proposal.
For sure. You should be able to add it yourself on the category extension.
Nice.
That, Liz, I
Or you can submit it, and then I think we verified. I forgot.
You've got a
But
choice, Ted.
you should be able to submit on the guides.
I'm speaking to you from a VTOL en
That's
route to
definitely
US
also something I
Robot
want
Command.
to put a lot of effort
15
into.
minutes, I meet with General Harris and the
Once
rest
we're
of
on the other
teams.
side of what's it called, Burning Shores. Once the hype of that dies down a bit, let's focus on getting some more tutorials done.
Yeah.
Operation on Earth has
Because
guaranteed the funds necessary to
community
build
has grown a
Zero
lot, but it can definitely
exactly
grow
as I
more.
designed.
Yeah.
for sure.
If you don't sign,
And
Yeah, we are just waiting for the
everyone
holograms
else
in
on
here,
this
by the way.
planet knows the real cause of the glitch.
exactly. I think that's definitely the part in the run where you have to wait the most and basically do nothing.
Yep.
There are 1-2 little strats we do to make our lives a little bit easier. Skip some monologue, get the mount here, but basically we're just waiting for Ted to stop his rambling.
Yeah. This PR speak or whatever you want to refer to it as.
This is always the moment where I look up at Everyday Aussies World Record Run and look how good I am in time actually. And look where I started the hologram at Maker's End and where he started the hologram at Maker's End to see
Elizabeth, brave.
how I'm doing.
I can't
Yeah.
send it.
I'm personally not the type of person that likes to compare myself too much, but at least not in the middle of runs. At least.
Yeah, I like it.
Of course.
I like the
know some
competition.
people love. I know me and Greedy joked about it at one point. There's also those runners that have like a gazillion information on their splits.
Yeah,
You
I have.
almost need a separate monitor just for splits.
I definitely have more than you, but
Yeah.
they're reasonable. They're not like
My focus is
Yeah,
with
I know.
everything. I just have
Maybe I can scan.
possible time save, segment, and split time. I think that's it.
Yeah. I definitely think so too, Fancy. Fancy just said, I don't know if you can see chat.
Yeah,
but,
I can see it.
Burning Shore, yeah. That Burning Shores will likely impact
Yeah, definitely.
maybe the route and also the loadouts of the Forbidden West New Game Plus. Since it's after the main quest, it's not going to impact any percent. Oh well. But we know how much of an impact. I mean, even if you weren't around at the time, it happened. But just looking at the loadouts and the weapons we use here in Zero Dawn for New Game Plus, you can just tell how big of a deal Frozen
exactly.
Wilds is. Even though it took a while
I mean,
to really start using the weapons, when we came along to it, I was like, oh my god, they're so much better.
Yeah. Especially with crazy good calls we can actually find here in the Zero Dawn game compared to the Forbidden West game.
She could be close.
Yeah, it was back in the early days of Zero Dawn, back in early 2018, where I remember in the Discord it was like, this new runner came along that uses the overdraw damage on the striker bow and it saves him a lot of time.
Wait,
Like,
what? This weapon actually does save time.
Yeah, and they were just like, oh, really? That elk guy that uses the striker bow and it's faster?
Wait, what?
What do you mean it's faster than sharpshot bows? Yeah, sharpshot bows was used before striker bows in the main weapon. Another history fact for you. Because the first couple of runs I did was basically just ice rail plus what's it called? Ice rail plus striker bow, and I was like, oh, that's really good.
Yeah. Ice rail is also a pretty good weapon.
And then another funny fact for those that nerd like setups in Horizon. It took me half a year after I started speedrunning to realize you can get more than one of each pristine card. So fun fact, my first ESA run, I only had one of each. I learned that after ESA.
Yeah, the
That's
pristine.
kinda funny.
The pristine is pretty good.
I found it.
Yep, but I thought you could only get one on each save file.
Yeah, but it also took me. I think I rewatched your how to set up New Game Plus file video about 20 times to finally understand how to set up the New Game Plus New Game Plus file properly and get those 9 pristine calls you need. And what the hell is this mount spawn? I think he spawned on top of the dig site.
He only does that if you whistle on top or forgot to kill him, but yeah, that's weird.
Actually, oh yeah, I'm actually using a new strat where you actually kill the mount before you go over the rope, and then call a new mount after you skip through the sawtooth cutscene. That could maybe cause that the mount spawn is so bad.
Maybe.
They should look into that.
No. Yeah, interesting theory for sure.
Yeah.
So we didn't talk about it in Dorian's run, but I guess I can bring it up here. So you might notice that we're riding straight to the camps rather than going to start the Revenge of the Nora quest first. And that's because when you complete War Chief, all the objectives and checkpoints for Revenge of the Nora are already loaded in. And it's actually faster to go to the camps right away compared to going up and talking to Mal and Sona first. Granted, you still have to talk to them, but doing it after the quest is just better. So it allows us to take this route to the camps, but since we haven't started the quest, there's a few differences. Like, there's no checkpoints, so even though it's story, so it's unlikely to happen, but if he were to die, he would have to do most of the camps over again. And also, he needs to make sure every single person at each camp is dead, because if he goes too far away and haven't killed everyone, then all the enemies will spawn again.
Exactly.
And that also means as a runner, you need to know exactly how many enemies there are at each camp and make sure you count them or memorize when you kill the last one. Because the game also doesn't tell you when you finish the camp because the quest isn't started, so it assumes you're just free roaming right now. And also, I think this is a good place to point out big difference in story and ultra hard here as well is on story, at least for the second and third camp, you try to stay on the mount the entire time, but on ultra hard we get off the mount because it's very easy for the mount to either take damage or because we have to hit so precise shots. It's really hard to do while the mount is still going. But story is a bit more forgiving with your shots, so you can easily do them while staying on the mount.
And that's also one of the things that actually, in my opinion, are harder on story, because this split right here has such a high skill cap. And
I would actually agree. Yeah.
I am going pretty slow here, just to make sure I hit every shot, but normally would go through this a bit faster.
Yeah, like without stopping at all and just hitting them, like kind of like you're doing right here at the end.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty clean and not so shabby and not so slow as I did there.
But yeah, it's pretty hard to do it super clean, but staying on the mount is faster.
So here at the very last camp, I actually prefer to alert some of the enemies by lighting this on fire, because then all the enemies will come to me and I don't have to go for the last eclipse right there. He takes his time, but normally he comes to me a little bit earlier.
Yeah, you get a little unlucky with his movement there.
Yeah.
But we do a similar thing on Ultra Hard, but essentially that guy in the back is in the trench. And if you don't alert him, he's just going to stand still and you have to walk all the way to the trench.
Exactly.
But alerting him makes him run immediately, and hopefully he takes a good path, but you got a little unlucky and had a bad path there.
Sound. Yes.
And right here, because we cleared all the camps, Sona and Val spawns here. Even though we haven't started the quest, it's kind of weird that it actually allows us for this to work, but it does. So yeah. Which just allows us to go immediately into Ring of Metal.
Yeah, I think it does work because we have cleared the camps, and I think if the game sees, you have cleared all the camps, no matter when you cleared the camps, I will proceed the quest, and then we can talk to Val and Sona.
Yeah, but it only does it again if you have completed War Chief. If you clear the camps, are also spawned in as soon as you leave the Embrace in the game, actually.
Okay.
But they don't appear. Sona and that's a different game. Sona and Val don't appear until War Chief has been completed.
Interesting.
My hand.
Yeah, so that is probably one of my least favorite splits because it's actually quite RNG heavy. Sometimes you get some good spawns off the eclipse, sometimes you get bad spawns, and this split is just huge RNG, and sometimes I save 30 seconds on the split and sometimes I lose a whole minute on that split. Also, one little difference here. We won't kill the Bellovac here, because for us on story difficulty it's actually so easy to kill it that we make use of its explosion to kill some more Eclipse faster.
Yeah. I guess I can also mention on Ultra, the reason you also kill them early is to get all the Eclipse in the first wave here to bunch up together. So because we use the sling, it's easier to kill them fast when they're bunched together. With Stormslinger, not so much of an issue. So that's why we kill them earlier. But on story, you would kill them so fast that they wouldn't bunch up at all. And yeah, right here you see Kata using the focus to see through the walls where the Eclipse are, because you want to make sure you have cleared all in one section. They will either spawn down by that platform he's currently shooting at, or where he was at the beginning underneath the stands of the stadium. And you need to clear basically the second wave wherever that spawns, either by the stands or down by the platform, and clear all of them.
That is a great example for the worst spawns, where the last wave actually spawns in here.
Yeah, so that happened because there was still one guy alive from the stands when he moved on. So that actually spawns at a few extra enemies underneath the stands. You can control a bit where they spawn on first try, but it's pretty hard because it depends on where you are standing and your camera angle and stuff. And yeah, it's tricky. So, but even then, controlling the spawn is not important necessarily. It's more just make sure you clean them up. And right here, he's gonna go to the campfire and actually start the quest. And since he's already cleared all the checkpoints, the quest just finishes immediately. So,
Good job, girl.
That's kind of yeah. That's just funny how that works. There's definitely some quirks in this game where you can tell this was their first attempt on an open world game. Those who don't know, the developers, Guerrilla, only made first-person shooters prior to Horizon. So it's pretty impressive the game turned out as well. And then, of course, we're heading north to the Grave Horde.
I guess to make it a little meme, we actually should do like a community stream where we all download Killzone and play together.
I would love that.
Yeah, that would be very cool.
Problem is just all the Killzone games are still stuck on PS3, and not Shadowfall, but and the other ones are better. Let's be honest. Killzone 2 and 3 is where it's at. 1 on Shadowfall. But yeah, 2 and 3 still stuck on PS3, and that really sucks. One day.
We'll see.
One day we'll get a Killzone collection, but most likely not. They're probably just one day gonna add them to PS Plus, and then you can play them through the cloud. Sorry, I'm getting ranty about this. I hate the fact that PS3 games are only on cloud. It's actually boiling my blood.
Is there no PC emulation?
There are PS3 emulation, but depends a lot on which game you play, if they're good or not. Killzone 1 might be pretty good on PC, but Killzone 1 is quite different to 2 and 3.
Okay.
And Killzone 1 is really old and outdated.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if the emulation is good on 2 and 3. PS3 emulation is sketchy. Depends on the game, because there was a lot of anti-piracy on the PS3, so the way Sony made games made it so you have to you can't just make an emulator for the console. You have to almost make one for each game. I'm not a programmer, so I've just had it explained to me, but almost have to make one for each game, and then and then it like depends on how it works. It's hard to explain, but yeah. Anyway, we have Grave Horde.
Finally at the Grave Horde, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Safta's pointing it out. Yeah, there was some updates to PS3 emulation recently that it apparently got boosted somehow. I'm not technical, so I don't know how it works. I mean, the God of War 1 and 2, Greedy, and the 2 PSP games should run pretty well on PC, because they were originally PS2 and PSP games. It's only God of War 3 and God of War Ascension that are PS3. And it's only PS3 games that are struggled to be emulated. So, yeah. Just want to point that out. And you don't have to play Ascension. Nobody likes Ascension. Or maybe someone does, I don't know. But yeah, Grave Horde here, all the enemies here, you can just run past them, no need to fight them, and then we do the little wall run here on the wall. That is a little bit trickier than it looks. Because when you nail it, it just looks stupid easy, but it's not. And then onto the Deathbringer fight.
Yeah, and
I
then
don't remember how it's done on story.
Yeah, on story we basically try to kill the Deathbringer with the Stormslinger. And we use the Stormslinger, not the Ice Rail, to maybe get some damage at the Eclipse that are standing below the Deathbringer. And for the rest we just finish it off with some arrows.
Yeah.
If we could hit some, thank you.
And the way armor works on the Deathbringer makes it a little harder to just spam a Stormslinger at it. You still have to actually aim pretty precisely on the weak points, because most of the Deathbringer's body will just not take any damage. So you still have to be accurate with it. And on story, you do so much damage that it destroys the weak points quickly, so you have to aim for either a place that has a lot of weak points close together, or be ready to switch between the targets.
I have one question, Alec. On PC, when I recraft some ammunition while I'm in a hologram, when I am still at my my weapon wheel and craft, when one sentence of the dialogue ends, the dialogue will stop for a moment, like 2 or 3 seconds. Is that also the case on PlayStation?
Like when you craft, dialogue doesn't play.
Yeah, exactly. When, for
the
example,
hologram?
here at Gravehorde or Maker's End, when, for example, Ted finished one of her sentences, and I'm still in my weapon wheel, Elizabeth can only start talking if I go outside of my weapon wheel, which is pretty interesting.
It's not that big of a deal in Gravehorde because the sentences are so long that you would have to be unlucky to do it at the wrong time. But yeah, at Maker's End it's actually a thing. It's also a thing at the War Chief actually, with the audio you listen to there after the fight. But yeah, on PlayStation it's actually a strat. I don't know how many do it. I know I pay a lot of attention to it. Is to only craft ammo while the sentence is going and not in between sentences.
Exactly.
Because as you said, it actually stops that dialogue.
Exactly. I do the exact same thing to provide those stupid skips. I mean, bugs, glitches where the dialogue does not continue.
It's a minor thing, but it's definitely something to keep in mind when you speedrun the game. But yeah, basically it's because whenever you open the weapon wheel in this game, there will always be slowdown. You can't turn off slowdown like you can in Forbidden West. So because of that, dialogue cannot be slowed down. So crafting ammo doing dialogue actually saves time compared to doing it anywhere else, because it mitigates the slowdown. But even though dialogue doesn't pause during slowdown, a dialogue cannot start while the game is slowed down. So that's why you have to do it on a full sentence and not in between sentences. So yeah, hopefully that answers it. And yeah, it's a minor strat. I've been doing it for years. I don't know. Although I noticed Ozzy doesn't seem to care when I watch his runs, but yeah, it is a thing to keep in mind because it can save you like a handful of seconds here and there. The only places where I do it is Maker's End and War Chief. All the other places that usually doesn't matter.
War Chief? You mean where exactly?
Sorry, the data point you listen to after the fight. That also pauses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right.
Interestingly enough, in the TED Talk at Gaia Prime, it does not. There you can just craft a
okay.
For some reason, that one works differently.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that one yet.
Like I talked about doing Dorian's run, I have had it explained before from somebody that I've talked to, that reason why in Zero Dawn some things work differently depending on which quest you're on is because they were programmed by different people.
Yeah.
So there wasn't continuity on that because it was such a minor thing that it was like, why bother? So that's why, for example, some quests you can skip dialogue when investigating, and other you can't. It's quirky thing. Quirky little thing.
Important thing is what he isn't. His father.
Oh, I accidentally closed my chat. No, I can't see you. A riot just starts in the chat while I can't see. There we go. Chat is back. Oh yeah, that's another spot. True Saft. Yeah, the fire break room in Epsilon. In the
right. Of course, in the Frozen Wilds. Yeah.
But again, that's similar to Gravehorde. The sentences there are so long that it's you can kind of just ignore it. But it is a thing. Also, with all the cyan holograms throughout Epsilon, those also pause if you do it there. So yeah, those spots matter too. I wasn't thinking about the frozen ones, but correct. And now we're on our way to Eclipse Base. The split
Exactly.
where you don't actually have to kill anything. You can if you want to, but for the most part, you don't need to. It's a split where you just do some skips, and that sounds super easy, but definitely can be tricky. Definitely takes a lot of practice, I would say, to get consistent at just nailing the skips back to back. To be fair, most of the skips in Eclipse Space are fairly forgiving if you mess them up, but it just feels so nice when you get a smooth run through there.
That's true.
But for newer runners, they are unforgiving for sure.
Yeah, Eclipse Space is pretty hard when you start running and you get into those movement strats where you like jump over rocks and over fences. It's hard, but if you get the movement and if you get the muscle memory from time to time, this split is basically an auto-scroller if you don't mess something up very badly.
Yeah. I mean, your movement has to be...
It has to be good, but...
You can go into very finical details, to be fair, about the split, but yeah. But you want to get those really smooth, good skips, especially when you are world record contending, because as we talked about earlier, even though the skips are forgiving, you quickly can rack up a lot of time loss. Especially if, like we said, you're going for the top times, because all the New Game Plus categories in Zero Dawn are incredibly optimized at this point. So messing up gate skip once can...
yeah, exactly.
Is all of a sudden quite a lot of time.
All right. What now?
Wait, that's what?
Let's see what's in here.
But yeah, I guess we never announced the competitors for Geoguessr, but oh well. No, Dorian talked about putting it on the schedule, but I guess we never did. But since it wasn't supposed to be a secret, we just forgot to announce it. But yeah, so Geoguessr is actually going to be 2 matches, one for Zero Dawn, where it's going to be somebody named Kyder. aka the guy running right now, who is going up against Alton. And for Forbidden West, it's gonna be me versus Greedy in Geoguessr.
Interesting matchup. I'm so happy that I don't have to participate at the Forbidden West.
Yeah.
At the Forbidden West Geoguessr board, because I would be embarrassed if I had to show you where I think some spots on the Forbidden West map are. But I think on HCD I can pull off some good guesses. So
There definitely is some spots in Forbidden West where I am probably not that sharp at, but yeah. I would definitely do better in Zero Dawn, but since you and Alton volunteered, we let you have it. But I still don't know. Me and Dorian like a week ago.
What?
Oh, you when you jumped over the gate, you were too far to the left. So restart from save.
That never happened to me before.
Oh, you never made that mistake?
No.
Do you even know it?
No.
When you oh, interesting. When you do gate
What?
skip, you have to land on the right side.
Okay. Wow.
There's a, you know, when you do it the intended way, you pull over the tree.
Yeah.
Right on the
yeah.
opposite side of that tree, there's a trigger.
I see it.
I think you might have messed it up again because Silence is not talking.
Crash.
Oh no, there.
No, there it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was a little delayed.
That was
on my
actually
inside.
the first time that happened to me.
Interesting. That's actually one of the rookie mistakes we talk about.
Okay, wow, I have the right record for this run, but I didn't know this this derp existed. Interesting.
But yeah, there's So the trigger that's past the tree is actually fairly small, so you have to make sure you land, I guess from our perspective, far enough on the right. So if you land too far on the left, you don't actually hit that trigger where the tree is supposed to end.
Oh, wow.
So
Interesting.
I also learned that the hard way back in the day. It's one of those things, again, we never talk about it, so nobody really knows about it,
Yeah.
but it's a detail you just kind of know once you know it.
It's like when you jump down the
So-
elevator at Maker's End.
Yeah. And the one we're about to come up to, where if you're fast, roll too early.
Wow.
Watch out for eclipse.
So yeah, I guess you learned something new today.
Yeah.
You're
Great.
never losing a run to that again.
No.
Hopefully not.
Yeah. And it's actually if you want to explore the Eclipse space a little bit without quest progressing, it's a good way to intentionally softlock the game and explore down where Hades is located. Fun fact. And on to Zero Dawn.
Zero Dawn, yeah. A mixture between combat and movement skips. On PC it's a little bit less combat because we can actually skip some eclipse. No, not eclipse. Some castrals. And you have to kill those on PlayStation, so we can
Yeah.
save some time there.
Yeah, for some
Yeah.
reason on PlayStation there's a checkpoint for them, but not on PC.
I think
One of the minor differences.
it also has to do. I think it's the same like the skip I told you earlier before when I said that I can't do the Karja board or reset from save
Yeah.
and take my mount with me. Because on the exact same run where I found out I can't pull off the Karja border mount anymore, I also found out that I can actually now pull off the Zero Dawn skip, which I couldn't pull off with my bad graphics card. I always had to kill the castrals, like on the PlayStation
Oh,
version.
interesting. I didn't know that. So I guess it's like Zero Dawn, which to be fair is the one that I think saves the most time.
Wow, wow. We're dying to a lot of rookie mistakes today.
Yep. So I guess for Zero Dawn skip you want a good graphics card, but a bad one for the Cardio Border skip?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
So you need to find out which strat saves more time and then decide whether you want to use Zero Dawn PC skip with less castrals, which definitely saves less time than the mount at the top of the data. So if you want to absolutely optimize this category, you should stick to a 1060 graphics card and install it into your PC rather than a 3070.
I mean, it's just like what's it called, the unrestricted Frozen Wilds with the Shaman's Path skip that we're not allowed to do in regular runs, but unrestricted we are. Where it's like it doesn't work on PS4 Pro or 5, but on bad PS4s, or if you make your PC run at 100% CPU usage, it works. So, I don't think it has to be exactly 100%, but basically just fry your CPU and it works.
Exactly.
Life on Earth didn't cease to exist.
So yeah, that's always fun when skips are like that.
But it was.
So don't throw away your old graphics cards or your old PCs. You might get some new Horizon Zero Dawn PBs with those old toasters.
It's definitely on the list of dumbest speedrun skips for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of hardware.
Thank God.
Reminds me of a fun fact,
I can pass that.
what's it called, the Spyro Reignited trilogy on PC.
Oh yeah.
The lower your frame rate, the higher Spyro jumps. So you can make some crazy jumps if you play in 5 FPS.
I mean,
It's really stupid.
you have to find the perfect in between, because how can you pull off a really good jump with 5 FPS?
Exactly. But to
So,
be fair,
yeah.
the runs you need to be what's it called? Minimum 30 FPS.
Okay.
But it is a funny thing.
Looks like that part I found upstairs.
And also, if you play the Reignited trilogy with more than 100 FPS, then Spyro constantly slides even when you're standing still. So, absolute master port by Activision there. Oh yeah, there's also the greasy disk time save in SpongeBob. That's always a fun one to bring up. What do you do to save time? I'm sure there's more great examples out there.
There we go. Not perfect, but we got a first try Zero Dawn skip,
Yep.
which is pretty nice. That's one of the skips where I am really nervous because it's so far in the run and you can easily mess up here.
Yeah, it's rough.
Elizabeth said, "Our generation of humans would be spawned inside such places."
But all in all, solid Zero Dawn. Onto the Sunray, where we can see some more glitches that Horizon Zero Dawn provides. It doesn't have many, but here comes probably the biggest glitch we have in Zero Dawn.
I got you didn't dress it.
No, in my even.
Yeah, I would say so.
You're in all the hate. It doesn't. Do you've got
You've and
venom.
There's also not many glitches, to be fair, in Zero Dawn.
Yeah, true.
you know your and
I guess Shaman's Path is bigger if you include Frozen Wilds.
Yeah.
I think it saves more time, but yeah.
And yeah, Mount Heat, also Mount Heat is a bit major than this. But
Yeah.
what you're basically doing that we aren't actually finishing the Zero Dawn quest, because since you can see left in the top, it still says kill the Eclipse. But we're already in the Sun Ring, which later in the one we can then fast travel to Mother's Watch a little bit better right into the town, because the quest still thinks that we are in the Zero Dawn quest, and then we reset from save to get rid of this glitch and can continue the Nora section, which is pretty cool. Here we're just gonna use the Storm Slinger. Also, the Behemoth has so many points that can explode that the Storm Slinger is pretty useful, because it has a little bit range damage, and it's not hit scan, where you can only hit like 1 pixel in the code.
Yep.
That has been written for the game. So Storm Sling is pretty useful on Behemoths.
Too bad. You're.
I'll be.
Wait.
Yes.
The
When the I'll come in the mean.
You think?
One of the payload for use.
Same goes for long legs. Every machine that has like one weak point that can actually explode, like the throat or the belly. I don't even know what it is from the long leg.
I'm pretty sure it's the chest.
Or the
technically.
chest, yeah. And all machines that have like those weak points which can explode, you can just hit it once with the Storm Slinger and it will explode at the first impact and kill the machine pretty fast. So now you can see all Eclipse troops have spawned in. Normally would have to go a little bit further away from Mother's Watch and then enter this this section. And now we just alert the Thunderjaw a bit early here to make the cutscene appear a bit faster.
Yeah. Normally you have to wait for some dialogue, but if the Thunderjaw is alerted, it starts sooner. So that's why you intentionally shoot at him. You can't actually damage him until after the cutscene, but it's just to get the fight started. And then yeah, just shog all the Eclipse and call it a day. And then look for Val, because
Yeah.
he's always in a different spot.
Yeah, that's always the little casino. Find Wall in order
And
to
annoying-
proceed the quest.
And the annoying thing is Val's dialogue actually bugs out here, so you can't use directional sound to. You have to look for him.
Yeah.
You can't just hear where he is, because his I think it's called just directional sound, but yeah, it's his audio bugs out, so you can't actually hear exactly where he is. It just sounds like he's all around you. In a way. It's weird to explain if you haven't played the game with a headset or with some sort of 3D audio.
I see you're inside.
Figured I might be hearing from you.
Shall we begin?
I never stopped.
Good thing that he's gone now. His audio would have worked if he had a beard.
Oh god, that's rude.
Looks like we don't like this story very much.
Everything about Val would have worked better if he had a beard.
Of course they hate it.
Greetings, Dr. Sobek. You are clear to proceed. Welcome to the Lyceum.
So, what was this place exactly?
The dream of Apollo. Never realized.
Why not?
Priority not accessed.
I think here at the very end of the game, the developers thought, okay, another ruin. We have to design another ruin. Come on, let's just do this thing called Eleuthia. 1 room, 2 rooms, that's it. Play the holograms, and we're done.
I mean, technically, there's quite a lot here if you don't just run through all the necessary stuff.
But the place is... It's a bit weak for what we know from Maker's End, Gravehorde, and Gaia Prime. I guess technically
That's
Gaia
true.
Prime is after Eleuthia, so my theory is not quite correct, but I would have expected a little bit more from Eleuthia here.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But it's enough,
Yeah.
for the plot.
I guess it goes a little bit into it in the plot with the kids wanting to leave early.
Yeah.
But,
And
because I'd imagine you would go pretty insane just being in there
yeah,
for the first, 18 years of their lives.
and also
But
the
then they
door
have to
that was
go and be
locked.
brave. Yeah. Beard sub goal win. I don't know, soon. But it takes me forever to grow out a beard.
Same.
I definitely can grow a beard.
Some
It's
kind of
just
signal.
my upper lip gets it gets hair, but it takes like 5 times as long compared to like my chins,
Yeah, that's
and then
like
it just looks dumb.
opposite for me.
Oh, okay. I think it just looks weird if you don't have the upper lip, but you have like the chins.
Yeah. But as a true Danish Vikinger, you have to grow some beard at some point.
Yeah. Oh, also another thing I hate about my beard: if I grow it out, the hair is like red.
Yeah.
It's not like really red, but it has like a red tint to it, and I think it just looks dumb with my blonde hair.
Okay, that's true.
My brother has grown out a beard, and and he has the same thing. And I
Can
mean,
get a fake beard.
get a
Huge IQ soft.
the other Amish beard. Maybe just grow out the. I don't know what it's called in other languages. In Danish, we just call it bagenbader. That's when you only have the very side, but nothing on the chin or where you only have the very side of the cheeks.
Greedy donut stream. Charity stream. Yes.
Your mustache is red, really? And grey. Oh, yeah, well, outside. That's everywhere. Outside looks like a lot of shelves. Sometimes I'm dead referred to as sailor beard. It's a little sailor like that. Sometimes.
Murad's agent should be at the marketplace by now.
Anyway, we're coming up with as you mentioned earlier, to summarize my strategy, if you want to correctly.
Very aim intensive also.
And I'm sure you're just gonna nail every single shot.
Hopefully. We got the beautiful story aim correction. So hopefully we'll hit some more shots than some ultra hard runs.
My audio is cutting out. Is it still there? I was moving away from the mic, so maybe that was the issue.
Oh wow. I'm just gonna kill those to be safe. Because I don't want Snapmores or Sawteeth killing my mount, so I just kill them. And on story that's pretty forgiving because, you know, Stormslinger 3-4 shots and then the Snapmore and the Sawtooth are dead. So now we are on our way to the ball or the lens. And finally destroy Dervil's camp. Which can be done pretty early in the game. Because you unlock it if you finish the ambush, which is pretty early in the run.
Yeah, I think any percent ultra hard is
right.
the earliest.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's because when you finish this quest, there's a box with 3 purple coils, so that's why we want it early in any percent ultra hard, because coils are everything in that run. Yeah, I think it was just a lag spike on, from my amazing router that caused the audio to bug out. Sorry about that. Should be fine now. No need to panic.
Okay, not too well, but we made it. That's enough.
Some must be in there. We have to get through.
Missed, I think three shots on the big guy, but that's alright.
Notes about crafting.
Read the letter and then we can instantly talk to Erend and escape this place.
Yeah, here in Borderlands you can actually reroll the coils twice, so that's also really good. So you have a potential of what it would be 9 purple coils there.
Yeah.
It's the corruptor you can reroll runs, and then the corruptor at the very beginning you can reroll runs, but the box here you can do twice because there's 2 checkpoints down in the basement. So you can do it before analyzing the before analyzing the thing, then after talking to Erend, then in between Erend's dialogue and finishing, and then after, yeah, something like that. Something along those lines. It sounds correct in my head. But now on to Gaia Prime, the most exciting split in the run, as I'm sure we all know.
But I like it. I like the environment here at the Gaia Prime. It's beautiful.
I like
definitely one of the most beautiful sceneries in the whole game.
Audio doesn't bug if you have a beard. Well, that's what I said about Val, so yeah, maybe I should just grow out a beard. I could just say I've grown out a beard. I mean, I don't have a webcam. It's not like you guys are gonna know. Maybe at ESA Summer, perhaps, but... I could just say it. So yeah, I woke up yesterday. I woke up tomorrow and I had a full-grown beard.
The way to the mountain will be hard.
Exactly like Val's beard disappeared in like one quest.
I mean, it's pretty easy to make a beard disappear, to be fair.
Yeah, but it's still a bit weird that they actually made the beard disappear in the game.
Watchers on the other side.
I think it would be a little bit cooler if Val just would stick to the beard the whole time during the Forbidden West, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm lagging a bit here. My internet sucks. Sorry about it.
So, we're actually going a complete different way here than the game wants us to go.
One sec, I'll mute myself for a second.
To skip some climbing, because off-road jumping is just way faster than intended climbing handles. And we also don't have to fight the Stormbird, which is pretty simple in story to be fair, but of course, if you skip it, it's even faster, so we go around those rocks here to completely skip the Stormbird and also skip some handles. And here Gaia Prime will just get some knowledge about Gaia itself and how Elizabeth Sobek died. And we'll also use a pretty cool stretch to skip some of our traveling time from one to another point. So pretty cool stretch coming up.
If you could fly, I wouldn't have bothered with the climbing path either.
Going up here, also trying to avoid handholds. And into the workshop of silence.
Yeah, everything.
Genetic identity confirmed. Entry authorized. Greetings, Dr.
Mind your footing.
And yes, soft Marin Skipper will come up. I used to stick to the old classic, old-fashioned way. But these days I use the much simpler Marin strat for the Gaia Prime skip. I definitely prefer that one over the old-fashioned way. But both work, definitely. If you feel confident with the old-fashioned way, that's also definitely the way to go.
What's left of it? Once this was all enclosed by rock and metal.
And you shouldn't always stick to new strats if they don't save any time. And if you feel confident with the old strat, I would always prefer the old strat. That works best for you. I have also some points where I do things differently from other runners because I just prefer a different way.
Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Welcome back.
I had a big lag spike there. Just muted myself in case the audio got weird again.
So I just told them that we have several strats here for the Gaia Prime. All right.
Yeah.
And you are actually one of the few runners that still stick to the old-fashioned way.
I only do it because the original way was the one I found, and therefore I take pride in using my way.
Yeah, that's definitely a really good reason.
And again, it doesn't matter time-wise.
Exactly. It doesn't matter from the point where we start the first hologram until the part where the TED Talk ends. Time doesn't matter at all, so you can take your time. But of course, you have to pull it off, but if you're not that fast, that's no problem. You can do it over and over again.
And I know my way, a lot of people say, is pretty hard
to
do, but I've gotten so consistent at it over time that, I don't know, wake me up at 4 AM, blindfold me, and shock me with a taser, and I'll still pull it off.
Yeah, I can remember that actually one of my very early PBs got killed by your strat because I wasn't that confident with it. And when I started running this category, because this category was also my first category I ever ran, before Smack Percent, before all the other category extensions, and before the Frozen Wells. And I also stick to your way, but then shortly after my runs got more seriously and I went for world record times, then I just used the Marin way because for me it's just a little bit easier.
Sorry to alarm you, but I need you to listen, okay? To what I'm about to say. This isn't easy. See,
and yeah, it's just nice that we have an easier method of doing it, especially for new runners, because my method, not only is it hard to explain, but also once you mess it up once, if you're new to the run, you immediately get really nervous about it. But
exactly.
You can mess it up like, I think, almost 5 or 6 times, you know, and still get it. So it's very unforgiving, but when you're new to speedrunning, you get easily stressed when you're messing something up on your first couple of runs. That is how it is. There's another rookie mistake we always also talk about a lot in Gaia Prime here, actually, after the second hologram, when going back to the what's it called, the workshop afterwards. Pretty much every new runner has at some point rollen too far off the edge and fallen to that F.
Yeah.
Right before the zipline. Well, we don't use the zipline, but there's a zipline there. And it's pretty funny because Silence always says master override doesn't override gravity, and then you just plummet to your death.
Exactly, yeah, that's quite funny.
There's
I
a
think
few
that-
places where...
That never happened to me, actually.
Ooh, lucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are definitely a couple of places in the run where there's some comedic timing with the dialogue and the speedrun.
But I died at Meridian, so I'm not allowed to talk about stupid death.
There's been plenty of stupid deaths over the years in the runs. Don't worry about it.
Because at the drop down in Olin's house, I'm so used to story difficulty where you can just jump down and you can't kill no matter what you do. I think Ozzy found one way how you can actually die on story difficulty by that drop down, but on story it's very hard to die. But on ultra hard you have to take another roll to another ledge and then go to the very ground.
Oh yeah.
And then when I ran ultra hard and I jumped directly down and died, and yeah. So
yeah, there's a way to die even with the ledge on lower difficulties, as you said. It's actually that you can squeeze in between the staircase and the wall, and that clips you out of bounds, and that actually is what kills you and not the fall.
yeah.
It's weird, but yeah, I had that happen to me once in a run, and that's why we have the a little meme in my chat some might remember of dying in Meridian.
Exactly.
Because, yeah, that might be the silliest death I've ever had in the speedrun, I think. There's probably some other examples, but it's up there.
I died at the very last jump before you enter the arena in Meridian at the Spire in my any percent ultra hard speedrun on PB pace. It was still a PB because I had like 10 minutes time save because you know it's any percent ultra hard, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think my first ultra hard New Game Plus speedrun PB died like 3 times on Ridge Defense.
Yeah, my world record any percent ultra hard is also not levels 3 times maybe, I think.
I help you because when I know what which
Hate.
yeah.
So how
I take my
then
exam.
And then getting close to the end. Only the final 2 quests left to go back in Meridian.
Exactly.
And Durable Quest, the first one, a quest that I think most people actually finish early in their playthroughs casually.
Yeah, definitely. I also did that right when I finished the Borderlands quest.
But a quest we do late in the speedrun, not only because it works well with routing, but the key thing is actually it ties into the last quest if you do it as the last one. Because then you only have to talk to about once after finishing
that's pretty cool.
Which saves quite a bit of time.
I'll meet
Aaron, take him.
So that's why we don't do Durable early in the run. Even though some could argue why not do it earlier with Blaze Skip and Glinthawks and all that. It's not worth it because of the having to talk to a lot twice. Which I think is like 20 second, might even be close to 30-second time loss.
Yeah. Also, this extremely cool reset from save at the beginning of the bridge directly to Marat, Avad, and Errant does not work if you don't do those quests in one quest in one go.
big enough to kill us.
Indeed.
All right,
Blaze Skip.
I'll shut up.
It looks like a wooden bracket.
Let's see.
Will somebody get it in the marathon? Oh.
Nah.
Similar to
Sadly
Dark.
not. Yeah.
Do you use multiple buttons for it or just E?
Just hold W forward the whole time, and then smash E with my right finger. I have both hands on the keyboard when I do Blaze Skip,
Oh, okay.
There's
Yeah.
gotta be
And I press W with the left hand and E with the right hand.
Gotcha.
And then I just try to mash and always look at the ground, because in my PBs, when I got it in my World Record runs, I always looked at the ground, and that somehow worked for me. So I'm just looking at the ground at like a 45-degree angle, and I would say my win rate with Blaze Skip is like 40% maybe. And if I don't get the first wooden thing open first try, I just reset from save, because when you reset from save, you can no matter what, you can open the first one directly.
Yep.
So, but if I don't get the second one, I think if I'm gonna go for
Wish I could be there to see.
more world record attempts soon, I might just restart it from save over and over again until I get play skip, and if I don't get it like at the second or third try, I run is dead. That's probably how I'm gonna have to do it in my next attempts.
Yeah, it is a shame we can't do it earlier, even though, like I said, so many people over the years have suggested, why not just do thermal earlier, but you can't. It messes up the route and loses a lot of time. But if only we could do it earlier, no way, then it would be nice. At least the game holds isn't that much of an issue like they once used to be. In, I think, both story and, what's it called? Ultrad.
So that was
At
a
least for
solid
top runners, I
counterpart.
feel like we have gotten relatively consistent at it.
Yeah.
Hey, wife, you would but and I.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh no, wrong dialogue.
No, now I try not.
That's also one of the downsides with mouse and keyboard. You actually, when you have to select one dialogue, you don't have it locked onto one dialogue every time. You can actually also miss the dialogue.
All right, let's just.
So yeah, dialogue skipping is a lot worse on mouse and keyboard. But all in all, mouse and keyboard is not that bad compared to controller, especially if you're someone like me who comes from a lot of shooting games and since the release of Fortnite in 2017 always has played on a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah,
I prefer that.
Yeah, I've been a console scrub my entire life except for Counter-Strike and StarCraft, which are the only two PC games I really played a decent amount of. To be fair, you need to have 1,000 hours in Counter-Strike to get a Danish passport, I'm pretty sure, so... So, I think that's how it works.
Yeah, Counter-Strike esports is wild, and I also feel like Counter-Strike is getting like a little bit hyped now that Counter-Strike 2 is
Counter-Strike 2
released.
actually looks so good. I actually really want to play it when it comes out.
It actually does look really good.
All the updates they made to it make us really exciting. Oh, by the way, upskirt shot.
Yeah, of course.
Aloy is missing her belly.
Yeah.
PC quirks.
Good old PC bugs. To be fair, I play on mostly ultra settings and I still have like 80 frames.
Yeah, this PC port was never that great, but when they started developing this game, I'm sure there was no intention of ever bringing it to PC.
Yeah.
That was an idea Sony got later on, I'm sure.
But to be fair, after some updates and some fixes, the game was pretty good on PC.
I would definitely recommend it. Definitely no Last of Us Part 1 on PC, but that's a nightmare. Good lord. I wonder if they'll ever fix that one, but we'll see. I know Naughty Dog has released a lot of patches, but I haven't been keeping up if it's good. I heard it's pretty good if you have an AMD now, but apparently Nvidia is still broken.
Yeah, right.
That was a similar thing in Zero Dawn for a while.
Do what she says.
Where, for some reason, AMD worked way better.
I have an Intel processor. It works fine for me. But yeah, of course, AMD is the more modern processor and has some I think the top model actually is it still has the lead right now, but I'm not quite sure. Haven't looked into hardware lately, other than my new laptop. But yeah.
Rally the vanguard. Send
Yeah,
reinforcements.
I mean, I've been saying for the last 2 years that I want to upgrade my PC and.
If you need help, I can definitely help you to find the perfect hardware.
PC prices just keeps being ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why you have to build it yourself, and then you can save money.
It's just a parts matter.
Yeah, but the parts have been getting cheaper lately.
I would still say they're outrageous.
Yeah,
At least crypto
that's
completely died. So
yeah, that's true.
Cheaper that way. Oh, you don't go for the big skin?
No, I do not. I haven't really tried to pull it off, and I think if I will try to go for some better times at some point, I will look into it. But for now, I just stick to that one.
Saves 10 seconds, so it definitely works. Last time I grinded it.
Oh.
I swear.
Missed a shot. Yeah, so that split is pretty different compared to the ultra hard version.
Yep.
We go full Rambo mode with the Stormslinger and try to kill everything from up close. And also, yeah, keep going.
Yeah, I tried for the longest time to make a full Rambo strat, full trot, but just nothing was close enough to the fastest time I could get with the other strat, or even remotely consistent, unfortunately. But it was really fun. Just strats like that.
Oh no!
Oh, you missed one?
Yeah.
Ah, rip. But,
That's unfortunate.
Stormslinger can just snipes it from another country.
But I hate those scrappers there. Also, at the very end game, there's also one scrapper that you have to kill early, otherwise it will just run away and you will be messed up with your strat. Anyway, let's wait for those machines to spawn in right here. Should be coming now. There we go. So we spawn killed the Deathbringer right there with the proximity bombs. So here will come in some Glintox you can get pretty easily. Where's the last one? There it is. Alright.
Nice shooting. Good massacre of machines right here. Such a satisfying scrap to watch in the story. I mean, no problem. Sorry, it's just like endless slumber of machines.
Yeah. Prefer the split on story rather than ultra hard, because that's one of the splits that really shows how different the run actually is when you play on story difficulty. Yeah. And I'm curious to see how much time this actually is faster than the ultra hard run, but I think it's like at least faster by 30 seconds, I would say, compared to the ultra hard one, definitely. Especially with those ice whale one-shots on the Deathbringers.
Slow and skippable cutscene, waiting for Ted to save us.
There he is.
The great Ted.
Glorious
the villain
Ted.
of Horizon 2. Oh, wait, it's out now. Never mind.
Horizon 3, Horizon Nemesis. Ted is controlling Nemesis.
No, wounded but alive mostly.
Tab is the new AI that is the brain behind Nemesis and will destroy the whole world.
Yeah.
From the very first moment in the tutorial, you knew that Tab was would be a person that you would see again at the very end of the game. Because he's such a... For me, he definitely was like a person that you could guess.
Maybe not in childhood, but once he
yeah.
enough for the proving, I was
yeah.
like, okay, he's gonna be reappearing.
Yeah. So here we don't need to craft any new ammunition, even though you have technically some time to craft one. Because on story you just stick to 2 ice rail shots here and that's it. So, and we have 5 left, so just can go to our mount here and go up to the spire.
So Dorian, get ready on
yeah,
time.
Dorian. Watch out, we will be done soon.
And
also,
yeah, I guess an interesting thing here, why aren't you just using the Stormslinger on the Deathbringer here? The Stormslinger actually does too much damage.
It does,
so
yeah.
If you just try to spam the Stormslinger at the final Deathbringer here, the Deathbringer has so much health that all the weak spots on the Deathbringer gets destroyed before you finish him off.
Yeah.
So the Stormslinger destroys the checkpoint or weak points in, I think, 1 shot basically. And because of that, it doesn't. All the weak points are gone before his health is depleted. And as we mentioned in Graveward, you can't just shoot at Deathbringer directly. You have to hit weak points to do damage. Therefore, it's better to shoot twice with Ice Rail. The Stormslinger is too powerful. Made me just think, has anybody ever tried just setting the setting to easy? And then use Stormslinger for the final fight? That would
Dorian,
be allowed, but
Dorian,
I don't know if it would be.
stay ready. Time. GG.
GG. We don't have a live audience. Somebody hold up the sign that says applause.
I have one question. Is the game audio actually cut out now on the stream? Because for me, when I finish the game, the audio cuts out.
No idea. Dorian would have to answer that.
No, that's...
But GG indeed.
A little bit weird, but at the very moment where you end the game, for me, the audio cuts out. But yeah, that's...
But you are not done yet.
Yeah, true,
One more thing to do today. By the way, the RTA, in case you can't see it, is 1:45:36.
Yeah, that's, I would say, a solid time for an RTA run. Let's see at the speedrun.com. So my RTA world record is 1:41:49. So
yeah, definitely
I think
not bad.
That's definitely a solid run for a marathon. And we had some derps, but I think all in all that was a great run for a marathon. I hope everyone enjoyed it, of course. And no, I don't have another tutorial for you guys. I only did a smack percent tutorial. But I hope that's enough. Maybe in the future I will look into a New Game Plus tutorial, but not that detailed like the smack percent. Because the tutorial is actually longer than the speedrun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great run. Elk, thank you very much for commentating with me.
No worries. Glad I could help.
Thank you.
Sorry about the delay issues in the beginning.
For everyone in the chat. And I hope you still have a great time with the remaining program. Right after that, we will have some GeoGuessr along with me and Elk.
Yep.
So
and,
stay tuned for that.
Yeah, Dorian will explain how that works when we get to it. But enjoy the intermission, go to the bathroom, stretch your legs, get some snacks, whatever you need to do, and we'll be right back.